And my skipper called me to the office and said, "Hey, what do you think about going to Ramadi?" And I was like, I knew exactly what was going on in Ramadi. I mean, the intel reports were very clear that Ramadi was a total war zone, total disaster, and it was the worst area in Iraq. And I said, "Yeah, roger that." No, and I tried to. Inside, I was like, "Oh hell yeah." Outside, I said, "Well, sir, there's a couple more things I need," and I bargained to get I bargained to get a few more people. I bargained to get like some computer stuff that we needed for our, for our communication stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, I can get you that. I can get you that. I can get you these other people." And I said, "I'm in." And that was it. Going to Ramadi.
Did you know this was it as far as kinetic deployments?
Yes. Yep. I mean, there was sustained fighting every day. Like, there was soldiers and Marines getting wounded and killed every day. And this isn't a big area. Ramadi's not a big city. Mm-hmm. It's small. IEDs were totally out of control.
So you had a pretty good idea what you were walking into.
100%. Yeah. Well, not 100% because, there's still some things you're going to learn, but I knew what was happening. I was, again, thankfully, I had done that deployment to Baghdad. I had, experienced as a enlisted SEAL, working for the Admiral. Like, these are all things that help me understand. I was just a little bit ahead of the power curve. You know what I mean? Just enough ahead of the power curve. Did you ever get rolled back in buds?
Yes.
I didn't get rolled back in buds, but you could tell the guys that got rolled back, they were like, okay, like pool comp, they know what's coming. They're just a little bit ahead. And that's how I felt like I was going into Ramadi. It was just ahead enough to know, like, okay, I know what's coming. And I told, once the task unit was on the ground, I'm like, this is going to be a historical deployment. Which is a big statement. That's not a small statement. I didn't throw that word around, but I knew.
How many guys did you have that had experience? Actual experience?
Every guy that wasn't a new guy had been to Iraq.
You had a lot of new guys, I think.
We had a decent amount of new guys. It wasn't overwhelming, but we had a solid, probably normal, average number of new guys.
Okay.
3-4 guys per platoon, new guys, something like that. So not overwhelming, and all great guys.
I mean, if you knew what you were walking, let me ask this: how many guys on your team or in your task unit had an idea of what they were walking into?
I don't know if anybody did.
How do you prepare these guys for that?
Just telling them what's happening. You put the SIGACs, the significant activities, which are basically enemy attacks, brief the SIGACs in the last 24 hours, and then you brief them the SIGACs in the last 7 days, and then you brief them the SIGACs in the last month. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist, because in the last 24 hours, there was 3 guys wounded, 1 guy killed, 38 enemy attacks. And you think, whoa, that's a rough day. But then you realize it's every day for 7 days, and then you realize it's every day for 7 months.
Fuck.
Or for a month, and then that's how it's been. And just before we showed up, like, the 3-8 Marines had a terrible about a week where they had lost 4 or 5 guys in that week before we showed up. And they'd lost a couple more before that. But, that's what we're getting into.
Who are your task unit, who are your platoon commanders?
Leif Babin and Seth Stone. Yeah, my brothers. Yeah, 2 guys.
You didn't know them before?
Didn't know them. Met them. And 2 guys from the Naval Academy. Neither one of them got selected out of the Naval Academy. They both had fought their way back from the fleet to get to the SEAL teams. Both of them from Texas. Both of them surfed. Neither one of them had much experience at all. But they were dude, they wanted to be good. They wanted to be good team guys, and they wanted to fight. They wanted to fight for God and country, and they were tough. They listened. Yeah, yeah, they were couldn't ask for better guys to work with. You know, for the two platoon commanders, and you know, it's funny because Leif will tell the story about when I met those guys and how I didn't smile to him and I wasn't nice to him, and B, Seth thought I was going to fire him, and I hated him. And it's actually true.
Is it really?
It's actually true. Not that I hated them, but that I might fire them. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what their attitudes were. I didn't have high expectations that they were going to be, you know, successful or good. And so, and you know what? This is another thing I stole from Hackworth. This is exactly what Hackworth would do. Hackworth's like, yeah, when I meet guys, I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not going to become friends with them because if they're not capable of doing the job, I'm going to get rid of them. And so, yeah, there's a reason why I didn't like bro out with them when I first met them, because I will fire them if they're not going to do their job correctly, or if they're more concerned about themselves than they are about the platoon. And if you're more concerned about yourself than your platoon, you will not work for me. You will not work for me. And I will do everything I can to like get you out of the SEAL teams